Good morning, everybody. Rick Wainwright here. So, guys, I got a new show that we're going to be starting up, and the name of it is going to be Our Daily Nugs. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and do a daily show. I'm going to try, but I'm getting pretty busy with business here, so I'm going to do my best to do it daily, but if not, we will keep it scheduled to once a week. We will do it. If not daily, it will be every Wednesday. So, our Daily Nugs. I thought of this name just because these articles and stories that I'm going to be talking about are nuggets, man. They're, stories that I'm talking about are like little nuggets, little nugs. I just find them interesting, and I just felt like these were some of the stories that I wanted to talk about. So, with that being said, we're going to move on to our first article. Let's talk local here for a moment, and I'm going to talk about Colorado Springs. This first article that I'm talking about is coloradosprings.gov/city council. And the article reads, Marijuana Task Force recommends several changes to city code. And this was published on March 22nd, 2016. Proposed changes impact zoning and land use for the medical marijuana industry. Colorado Springs, Colorado. A medical marijuana task force established to review city regulations related to medical marijuana facilities in Colorado Springs presented to City Council today several recommended changes to the city code. The task force recommendations, zoning modifications for medical marijuana facilities. And then under that they go, amend city code to increase the minimum distance a medical marijuana facility can be located from a school, residential, daycare, or rehabilitation center from 400 feet to 1,000 feet. This is to conform to limits set by the state and federal governments. Amend the city code to impose new licensing requirements on licensed medical marijuana businesses to include provisions related to advertising, operating hours, failure to disclose changes to business operations, product mix, online sales, transportation of products, ventilation, filtration, and failure to comply with fire and building codes as unlawful acts. Amend the city's zoning ordinance to limit licensed medical marijuana infused products, or MIPS, manufacturers to M1 and M2 industrial zones as permitted uses. Okay, well, so far, it sounds like they are doing everything that Denver has already done. Okay, so I'm not, well, alright, fine. Even that 400 feet to 1,000 feet, we do have that here in Denver. But I gotta say, what I don't like about that is that what happens if a dispensary or a MIPS open up? They're within the guidelines. Let's just say they're within that 1,000 feet mark. And just so happens that a residential daycare or rehabilitation center or a school opens up, and say they're only 700 feet from this dispensary. Who are you going to make that dispensary close down? I don't know. Some things need to be added to this 1,000-foot rule, even here in Denver. Okay, let's move on here. So zoning changes for licensed marijuana grows. Amend the city's zoning ordinance to limit licensed marijuana growers with more than 12 plants to M1 and M2 industrial zones as permitted uses and all other zones as conditional use, with limiting the number of marijuana plants allowed per resident to 12 plants. That's okay. I'm gonna read it before I start kind of putting my 2 cents in, but I'm gonna go ahead and change this for licensed marijuana grows. So, ordinance to limit licensed marijuana growers with more than 12 plants to M1 and M2 industrial zones. You know, that's kind of messed up. Now, it says licensed marijuana growers. All right? Those are the 3 key words there. I have a feeling that City Council will use those words and twist those words. But we're going to go ahead and go down and see what they say about limiting number of marijuana plants allowed per residence to 12 plants. They want to amend the city code relating to land uses allowed in residential zones to restrict personal cultivation of marijuana and medical marijuana to 12 plants, with additional requirements limiting such cultivation to 150 square feet for a single-family detached dwelling or 75 square foot for all other dwelling unit types and accessory structures, i.e. the garage, shed, or other detached structures. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. You know, you want to talk about putting a number on medical marijuana plants to 12. I'm sorry, that is not going to fly. That, in my opinion, you know, my case, when I went to court and when I won my case, it was over medical necessity, which meant that they could not put a 12 or 6 plant limit on me or my patients because it was medically necessary that I had more than that 6 plant. And, you know, I got to tell you, you guys can fight that as well. I mean, I left my case open. I could have had it sealed and not even be on my record. But I left it open, and I left it there for lottie-dottie every damn buddy to follow my blueprint. And it has been followed, and we have had cases after mine that have been won over this medical necessity. So, you know, I'm thinking that Colorado Springs is setting themselves up for a bunch of lawsuits. You know, I hope they have the money, you know, and Colorado Springs has that, in my opinion, jackass of a mayor, John Suthers. You know, they need to get that jackass out of there. I cannot stand that man. You know, I had a fight with him and his lawyers in my trial. You know, but I ended up, like I said, I won. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. The nicest thing I could say about him is he's a fucking jackass. All right. So, City Council also wants to amend the city code to make it unlawful for any person to cultivate more than 12 plants, with the city's general penalty up to 189 days in jail and a $2,500 fine or probation, or whatever they say applicable. You know what? I would definitely challenge this. You know, you're going to tell me that if I have a plant count of 50 recommended from my doctor, which, you know, in my opinion only, is unconstitutional, It is not the doctor's role to dictate how many plants you need to be able to medicate yourself 365 days a year. He doesn't know that information. He doesn't know how many plants you need for that. What if somebody's growing, 10-inch plants, and that's all they get. They do. Maybe I don't know, man. There's a lot of scenarios that we can talk about that, caregivers, not every caregiver grows the same. Not every patient grows the same. My 12, let's say, my 24 plants, maybe I can get more, maybe I can get double than, just somebody that is just starting out, So, I don't know, there's just too many scenarios for this to go wrong. But to put somebody in jail for 189 days, $2,500 fine, and probation or probation, I'm telling you, my friends, are we walking backwards here? Are we, we're supposed to be ending prohibition. And you're going to say that we're going to go to jail for a little over a half a year, 365 days. 365, that would be a little over 175. So, we're over a half a year in jail. So that's over 6 months in jail. I'm sorry. That, my friends, needs to be fought. If you live in Colorado Springs, you need to get a hold of your congressman or woman, get a hold of your city council, email them, flood their emails, their phones, and tell them that this little section here to amend the city code for 189 days in jail needs to be taken 100% completely off what they plan on doing. Boy, that makes me mad. All right. City Council also wants to address increased fire hazards at an annex to the city's fire code to impose controls on conditions for growing indoor flora, but not specific to marijuana. They have that in, not parentheses, but they've got, damn, I can't even remember what those are called anymore. But anyways, might as well be in parentheses. Okay, annex to the city's fire code to impose controls on conditions for growing indoor flora in residential occupancies. The goal is compliance by designating clear guidance for the number of plants allowed for medical and recreational purposes for each individual residence. Recommended amendments were based in part on concerns for public safety, strong odor, heavy traffic near residences with large grows, and loud noise coming from industrial ventilation fans in residential neighborhoods. All right, I got to read that again. Recommended amendments were based in part on concerns for public safety, strong odor, heavy traffic near residences with large grows, and loud noise from industrial ventilation fans in residential neighborhoods. The task force has worked diligently over the last several months to review and make zoning and land use recommendations related to the medical marijuana industry. We must clearly define regulations for an emerging industry that has such a large economic impact on Colorado Springs. Properly regulating this growing and developing industry effectively is important to residents, businesses, and patients, and I believe the task force has come together to accomplish just that, said council member and medical marijuana task force chair Larry Bagley. Mr. Bagley. Oh man, this is where I can really fucking go off on you, you motherfucker. Worked diligently. Well, that's fucking bullshit right there. To review and make zoning and land use recommendations related to the medical marijuana industry. We must clearly define regulations for an emerging industry. I'm sorry, Mr. Bagley. This emerging industry has clearly been in place since 2001. Now you're saying that has such a large economic impact in Colorado Springs. Do you not mean, are you not talking about recreational marijuana? You fucking piece of shit. Because that is what is emerging. An emerging industry is the recreational marijuana, not the medical marijuana. Medical marijuana has been around since 2001. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck you're really even talking about right here. It says properly regulating this growing and developing industry effectively is important to residents, businesses, and patients. And I believe that the task force has come together to accomplish just that. Oh, fucking gag me, man. I mean, are you fucking serious? You know, excuse my language, people, but I mean, honestly, you know, that is almost, you know, him just sitting there trying to insult our intelligence. This has, you know, it's enough to piss me off, man. I'm telling you what. They, you know, when marijuana was voted in here in Colorado, it was all about, I'm sorry. I have to redact just a little bit of that. When we voted in marijuana recreationally here in Colorado, we said regulate like alcohol. And you boneheads went and regulated just like medical marijuana. Now, you're trying to do exactly what I've been talking about since the legalization of marijuana and A64 here in Colorado, was that you are taking steps that will shut down the medical marijuana program. Okay, and I see steps that you are trying to put A64 regulation now onto medical marijuana. Alright, I'm sorry. I see so many damn lawsuits. I see their courts being flooded. And let me tell you, if they're not flooded with lawsuits over this bullshit here, I'm telling you what, man, I will lose faith in the marijuana community here in Colorado. Oh my goodness, my friends, that is such bullshit. I'm telling you, we cannot allow that to happen. Their next steps, City Council plans to discuss the task force recommendation at its next work session on April 11th. Guys, we need to flood that place. And to conduct its first reading or vote at its regular meeting on April 26th. We need to be there as well. If significant changes are not made following the first reading, a second reading will take place May 10th. I'm going to go on and finish this article, and then I'm going to come back to the next steps. The background. On November 10th, 2015, City Council adopted ordinances 15 to 79, which imposed a 6-month moratorium on the processing of any new land use or licensing approvals for any new medical marijuana facility or the change of location of an existing medical marijuana facility within the city limits. The moratorium period is November 26, 2015, and including May 25, 2016. The ordinance also specified that the president of City Council would appoint and City Council would confirm a task force comprised of residents, city staff, marijuana industry representatives, and the business community. The task force was tasked to review, study, develop, evaluate, and review laws and regulations pertaining to marijuana businesses, including but not limited to location and licensing criteria, fees, advertising, and other time, place, manner, and number regulations. The task force conducted 7 meetings that were open to the public from December 2015 through March 2016. For information about the marijuana task force, visit https://coloradosprings.gov/government/city council information/marijuana task force. Wow, did you remember all that, guys? For more information about marijuana laws in Colorado Springs, visit www.coloradosprings.gov/marijuana info. All right. I'm going to go back and talk about next steps. We do need to fill up these buildings and be at these sessions April 11th, April 26th, and May 10th. Now, why do I say May 10th? Because City Council will not disappoint me in saying that, they say that it's open for people and, they're going to hear, they'll listen to us. Okay, yeah, no, they will not. They will end up doing some backdoor shady fucking deal that's going to end up pissing us off. I have no doubt about that. I don't know why they would not do that, because that is how they work. But you need to be down there to show them that this is not cool and this is not okay with us. I'm telling you, this cannot happen, guys. We have got to make this stop. We need. Well, we're coming back to what I've been saying for a long time again, is that we need a law fund, a legal fund. Now, this fund is not for, if I get busted and I need money to get a lawyer. That's not what this legal fund is about. This legal fund is where let's just take what we've been talking about. They're talking about amending all these city codes. Well, let's take them to court. When they pass it, because I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to pass everything that they're talking about right here. Okay, they are more than willing to step backwards instead of move forwards. All right, so if that is the case, and if that does happen, then we need a legal fund to be able to take this bullshit to court and get it overturned. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I don't know. Do we even have the balls to fucking do it? Yeah, well, I know one thing I do. But I can't do it on my own. We need all of your guys' help. So, it's just one of those deals where this should piss you off, and I really hope that it does, because, what they pass here, and if you've got a plant count, you're going to be facing over 6 months in jail. So like I said, man, we really need to flood them, flood their emails, flood their phones, flood the buildings, and we need to fight this, all right? And if they do go against us, we need to take them to court. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this, man? I mean, I want to know. I suggest that you make these meetings, and you know what? Look, let your thoughts and your desires be heard by them. But remember to be respectful, even though they have shown us hardly zero respect themselves. We have got to show them that we are respectful, that we're intelligent, we know what we're talking about. Our futures depend on this. So if you are a Colorado Springs resident, I hope to see you down there. I hope that this meeting will go our way. But, I don't know. I don't have faith in the city council. So, but that's just my opinion only, and that's my view. So, until next time, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close it up for today. I hope you enjoyed the article, and, please let me know what you guys think. I'm going to put up a Facebook page, Our Daily Nug, and, I hope you join me on the next show. So until the next time, guys, you have a blessed day or blessed evening, whichever one it happens to be for you today or this evening. And, we'll talk to you on the next show.